Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby. This one, Australia going head-to-head with England at Twickenham Stadium. It is going to be, hopefully, a very close affair. These two sides have got a lot of points to try and get on those Rugby World rankings. We are in that World Cup draw year, so you want to be able to get those wins, put them under the belt, and then keep on progressing towards that World Cup. Looking through at the starting lineups. First of all, for the English, it will be Finn Baxter alongside Jamie George and Joe Hayes as that number 3. And the locking duo, Maro Itoje alongside Ollie Chisholm with Guy Pepper at 6. Sam Underhill as the number 7 and Ben Earl slotting in as the 8. So they have actually opted to go with Henry Pollock off of the bench rather than in the starting side. And there have been rumours about certain tactics and plans for some of those players off of the English bench. Alex Mitchell alongside George Ford in that 9 and 10 combination. Dingwall and Freeman will be the midfield combo with Fihi Waboso out on one wing, Roebuck out on the other, and Freddie Stewart, he will slot in as that number 15 for the Australians. They have got a few changes compared to what we saw throughout the Rugby Championship. Angus Bell, Billy Pollard, and Taniela Tupou. They will be the front rowers. Nick Frost and Jeremy Williams in the locking duo with Rob Valentini back as the number 6, Fraser McRae at 7, and Harry Wilson slots in as number 8. Now, this is quite a switch compared to what we saw in the last game for the Australians up against Japan, where we did see the likes of Wilson off the bench and also didn't even see Fraser McRae, Jake Gordon, and Tane Edmed. They will be the 9 and 10 combination for this contest. Hunter Paisami and Joseph Suaalii, who did have an outstanding Rugby Championship. I have to say, not having Leonard Cattell, that starting lineup, bit of a hit here for the Aussies, but I'm sure won't make that much of a difference. Paisami's still a strong ball runner, and we'll be hoping to really do very well here. Harry Potter out on the left wing, Max Jorgensen out on the right, and Andrew Callaway slots in at number 15. Looking at recent form, first of all, for the English, they have their July internationals. They were able to beat Argentina twice in Argentina, and then from there, a win up against the USA, 40 points to the 5. For the Australians, their most recent game was up against the Japanese just last week. They managed to pull off that narrow victory, but definitely nowhere near as convincing as they would have wanted to be for this game. Things have been looking up for Oz lately. Who knows? Says Yanko there. We have got there not having Owen Farrell makes England a little less dislikable. I'm still rooting for the Aussies all the way. Says Yanko, welcome back. Hamish says, Daryl, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Australia's still improving. Can win a close game, says David there. And Noah Cattell says, Studs raising Suaalii, the rugby league player that joined in recent months. Yep, so I think he actually did play in the November internationals last year for the Australians, if I'm correct. And, you know, he's just got a lot of talent. He's a young player. He's a bit fearless in that 13 jersey. He'll take a big hit. He'll try and find those offloads. I do notice there's a little bit of rain at Twickenham for this game. We did see a bit of a seesaw in the weather for that Barbarians versus All Blacks 15 match just before. And finally, a Queen says, Michael there in Australia, a bit more battle-hardened. Says Sakabula, yeah, playing last week, some underestimate how much of an impact that can have on a team. Because at least they've had something in terms of some minutes. Now, of course, there are quite a few changes compared to what we did see in that last match up against the Japanese. So that does maybe take a little bit longer to get going. But Lewis Moody, he's going to be presenting the match ball, and then we are underway for this contest. Now, I will mention there is another match that has taken place around the corner. That is South Africa versus Japan. So what we will be doing is we are going to be covering the first half on the channel for this one, and then from there we're going to be given updates on this match while giving the commentary for that game. It's a bit of a confusing one, but I was hoping to have someone fill in for me on this stream. Couldn't find anyone to help me out. So because of that, we're kind of doing a bit of chopping and changing for these ones. Moody Legend says Suds race. And how's the weather there? It is raining. It is hopefully not going to get too heavy. It's a bit light at the moment, which is good. The only trouble with Australia is they think less is more. And in rugby, that rule does not work. Says Gaspin, I haven't showed you well. Thanks for the game and your great commentary. Your legend, says Brett. And yeah, that's greatly appreciated you popping in for the stream. We are not too far away from the kickoff of this contest. Half-hour rain so far, says Jimbo. It's a dangerous backline, though, for the English. George Ford and Alex Mitchell, the two who have to keep it moving for the English. The player of the match to get stopped says, I am nutty, and also how's the weather there in England? Answers miserable grey raining 80% of the time. And thoughts on Borthwick using his social media minions to bring the Aussies' illegal play to attention. I hadn't actually seen anything about it. And Pepper Abolta, well, the thing is, for someone like Guy Pepper to be in the starting lineup ahead of Henry Pollock, you know he must be doing something right. Plus, I think they just have so many loose forwards at the moment available. I'm a South African, but I'm happy for Jamie Joseph. That has All Blacks 15 won that game, says Roger. That sounds complicated, says Robert V. And there as well. But it is going to be kicked off by the Australians, who are going from right to left in this contest. Wins Island, they are playing at 9 a.m. New Zealand time, or 10 p.m. for you guys in South Africa, and 9 p.m. for the UK. I believe the timings for that contest. They are just reading through the starting lineups yet again, but 40 minutes, hopefully a close rugby between these two sides. 8 p.m. UK time. Oh yeah, you guys had daylight savings, didn't you? Just recently. Joseph Suali'i, his neck is almost as wide, if not wider than his head. And he has been finding some gaps, making them wide open throughout the Rugby Championship. Rassi highlighted AB's closing the line out early for last year's Rugby Championship, says Jimbo. Nika Amushikeli will be the referee in charge of this matchup at Twickenham Stadium. And hi everyone, says Bruce, welcome in. You are doing extremely well. And now ready to go for this match. Allianz Stadium, they've got it called, but still doesn't feel right to say that rather than Twickenham. There's like 7 Allianz Stadiums around the world, but there is only one home of rugby, and that is right here at Twickenham Stadium. Tane Edmed getting ready to get this match underway. Whistle blown, and we are ready to go for England versus Australia. And trying to get that ball retention already was Suali'i trying to slap it back, but does partially knock it on. From the house to the sea, Waimedi will be free, says Kiwi Thunder. And there as well, now rolling this one back, Alex Mitchell. His first touch of the day, and we'll be looking for some decent height on this one. And a bit of a chase from Fiuai Bosso as well. Nice low tackle made on Andrew Callaway. 3 men in the breakdown for England, looking for a counter-ruck, but the ball's still available for Gordon. To the hands of Captain Harry Wilson. And we have got there, bro. Joseph Suali'i is such an impressive athlete, says Tanatu. Now Gordon, he'll go for the box kick, getting it around Maro Atoje's arms. Going up for it, Freddie Stewart. That one's going to be knocked back onto the side of England, but it's an accidental offside there from the English, and also the knock on from Stewart, so the early scrum coming the way of the Australians. Hamish, I must say you look very smart today. Nice shirt. Hopefully getting that subscription sorted soon. Says Ruth. And 3 p.m. in the UK, says Stephen, for this game at the moment. Yeah, early on throughout this first minute, we have already seen 3 kicks from these two sides. So it does seem like maybe a bit of territory to be played early on in this fixture, and then as the match progresses, I would say we're slowly going to get to see more and more from the running game. And so Suali'i, Geordie Barrett's son, says freshman, and anyone going to watch Munster versus Argentina. Is that this weekend or is that next weekend? In fact, no, that's this weekend, isn't it? When it's Springboks versus Japan. That game is kicking off in around an hour. We are covering that one on the channel too. And at halftime in this fixture, we'll be popping over to that one to start the build-up of that match. Jake Gordon going off to the left-hand side. They've got a low chopping tackle made by Guy Pepper. Short ball from Angus Bell. Haven't got James Slipper anymore in this Wallabies environment. Now passed over the top, Harry Potter. Going for the kick in behind. This one's curling towards the sideline. Doesn't quite go out though. Oh, big collision there for Suali'i. Didn't quite get the tackle right on Fair Waboso. I agree with you, Yanko. As a South African, I want the Southern Hemisphere to show the North how good the Southern Hemisphere is, says Brett. Thanks for the commentary, and that's a penalty going early the way of England. I think they're saying there, no clean out there. Or no roll away, in fact, it was, sorry. And congratulations, Hamish, 21 years old this week. Enjoy. I'm just not, though, am I? I don't think anyone would still think I'm 21. One's going to go into Dutch. Hi, Mr. Kiwi Sir. Sorry for being late to the stream. I just got home from Akami. Says Manil. Well, hopefully it all went well. Oh. Okay, they were just asking for a neck roll there, Australia, and referee Amushikeli said it was on the body. Now Jamie George, line out throw here, the experienced English veteran. Goes straight into the hands of Ollie Chisholm-Mitchell. Cross to George Ford. Does put this ball high. 2 men chasing after it for England, but it's taken by Tane Edmed. It's going to be such a crucial part of this game as what these players are able to do under the high ball. There's a penalty going the way of the English, and this should be the early 3 points. Or at least it could be. If they decide that they want to go for it. George Ford. Oh, this is in New England. That's actually a location. Not this one, though. This is just England in general. But George Ford kicking for the corner here. This is something I know that they've mentioned about how it was to be expected from the English, but it still feels weird. I'll be honest, early on in a rainy game, England 4 minutes in going for the line out rather than the easy 3. Is it going to come back to backfire? Good to see the hair is a little longer. Says Akatis. Yeah, it is slowly growing. It's kind of reached this length and it's just sitting there. Or it feels like it has been anyway. But it was very short at one point. George Ford, cross kick there. And, big knock on from Feoa Bosso inside of the in-goal area. George Ford asking for a knock on against the Australians. I think that he might get his wish there. George Ford. And up the Anzacs go Oz. And also 2 penalties in 4 minutes. That is not good for the Wallabies. Shows intent. Says Daryl. It's come off Andrew Callaway. It wasn't knocked on by him, though. It has just hit his hand first. You could argue that he hasn't tried to catch that, and instead he's kind of done the NRL slap it dead. They might check this. Because you'd argue he didn't actually have a decent catching attempt. Happy birthday, Hamish. My birthday's not till December. You've been set up by the one who was trying to say it was my birthday. Penalty try, says Studs Rays. No, in the end, they have just given it as another line out for the English after they have kicked it into the corner. Ollie Chisholm. It's a bit of a fumble of it, but it goes backwards. Jamie George, tackled by Harry Wilson. Trying to roll out of the way. Has done just enough. Here's Ben Earl. One of the impact players for the English all throughout that Rugby World Cup 2023 competition. He's now under immense pressure for the work in the loose forward trio. We have good there, Mr. Kiwi Sir. Can you please try and pronounce my full username? Is it Munir Piqueur? Have I said that correctly or have I butchered your last name? I do apologise if that is the case. Short ball from George Ford to Freddie Stewart. 2 metres out for the line now for England. Pick and go. No. Instead, passing it back across. Turned over onto his back for Joe Hayes. No advantage diving on it for the Wallabies. They might already be in a position of maybe a warning here. Now pick and go. In fact, sorry, not pick and go. Quick tap taken by the English. They're playing that quick at the moment. We're not even deciding in our brain what they are doing. Ollie Chisholm, 2 metres out from the try line. Waiting for it. Sam Underhill doesn't get to use it, though. They go to Joe Hayes again. He's close to the try line, and he's held up. That is now 2 times. In fact, that is now 3 times that England have turned down 3-pointers, ladies and gentlemen. And they haven't turned it into points just yet. And we have got there. Hi, Hamish. What do you think of Aussie's chances? I don't think they're too bad in this game in terms of the chance of Aussie being able to do all right here. It's not going to be easy, don't get me wrong, at Twickenham with a away crowd, well, a home crowd for the team who's at home. A few Wallabies in the crowd. I think there's like 7 from the looks of the kits in the background. Now Freddie Stewart, short ball, going to Tommy Freeman, who was lined up early from Joseph Suaalii. Now a little bit of a counter ruck from Taniela Tupou. Works out of the Wallabies, now back in possession with Bell. Springboks game will probably rain too, probably. I would say it just looks like that type of day. At the moment at Wembley is where they are going to be playing for that matchup. Impatient on the England line. Now back across, Harry Potter. Running sideways at the moment, and he's pierced a gap here, bumping off the challenge of Alex Mitchell, but Ben Earl in the breakdown, clean out, and the penalty goes the way of the English. They arrived a little bit late there, the Australian clean out. Big collision though from Taniela Tupou initially, then also managed to win that turnover in the breakdown. This might be a mistake, but a friendly is a good time to experiment, says Big Rig. Is this classed as a friendly? They still get like rankings points though, right? Be very surprised if they didn't. This is hard. I don't know who to cheer against, says Leon. Hoping for a draw in the lull, says Eric there. Steve Borthwick watching on. Come on, England, says Ian. A line-out throw 8 minutes into this contest. Jamie George. About 25 metres out from the line. Nicely taken by Ollie Chisholm. Now Mitchell goes back across to the left-hand side. Looping around. Little bit of a spin from Tommy Freeman. And a penalty this time. Goes back the way of Australia. Friendly, and it's important for the seedings. I say it's friendly on your scoreboard, Hamish, says Big Rig. And also we have got the up the Wallabies, Watchy, says Chef. And give both teams RC. 9 minutes in, and it's been back and forth at the moment. Australia have conceded about 4 penalties. Why isn't this a full test anyway? No friendlies in rugby, says Sakabula. I believe it is part of the, what's it called? The Nations Cup. Or it used to be the Autumn Nations Series, but now it's got a new name because it's a new sponsor who I can't remember. Starts with Q. Come on the Wallabies. And no such thing as a friendly in my mind. So turn down 3, now's got 0. Wallabies will be happy with that. Absolutely. Haven't ended up conceding as of yet, even though they have a lack of territory throughout the first 10 minutes. Nicely taken at line-out time for the Wallabies. Now Jake Gordon, big collision with Sam Underhill, who is an absolute tackling machine. But a runner machine, and Rob Bellatini now with a pick and go. Fraser McWright across to Billy Pollard. Been some huge hits already. That is one of them, trying to go with a pick and go for Suaalii, and he just got driven backwards about 3 metres by the 2 English forwards. Quilter, says Jimbo there. Now Angus Bell, short ball to Taniela Tupou, the Wallabies props linking up. And now it looks like Jake Gordon going to go for that box kick. And come on, Southern Hemisphere, says Conrad there. This one's going to be put high. Chasing after Harry Potter. He is going to have a decent crack at catching this one. Bit of a slippery ball situation, but it goes into the hands of Guy Porter. 25 out from their own line here. England, and it looks like couple phases perhaps. Oh, little knock on from England. It does now mean that Australia have got themselves the scrum. That 25 out. Very good position on the field. Did Tom Aspinall get a sight back? I haven't actually heard as of yet. It was a nasty looking eye poke from Cyril Gahn. That one's really split the UFC and MMA community, hasn't it? They're just showing there Guy Pepper. He was the man of the match from the Premiership final not too long ago. We have there is the trophy still on the line because it was called the Cooks Cup when England play Australia. I'd have to think that it is. Like, that's the thing. It says international friendly, but I don't actually think that is correct. I think it is a part of that Nations Series or just internationals in general. Go the Wallabies, says Lewis there. And did anyone watch the Women's Cricket World Cup semi-final between South Africa and England? Glorious, says Arno. Now ball's going to be fed in. Big push there at scrum time again. Harry Wilson tries to go short side. Did it come off an English hand there for a knock on? No, it didn't. It is going to be play on Maro Itoje. Wrestled down by Hunter Paisami. Now back across to the left-hand side. Dingwall goes to Freeman. On the outside, Stewart finds Fehi Waboso. Oh, okay. No, they have found a knock-on. Okay, knocked on by England, so they will go back. That was that one just after the scrum full test, says Jimbo. It was a call from the TMO, I believe, for that one. Saying about how the scrum was wheeling away to the side, although Harry Wilson, he did go for that pick and go on the short side. Any Royals in the crowd? Not that I've seen as of yet, but that won't guarantee that there aren't any there. 25 metres out from the line now for the scrum. About 20 metres in from the sideline. Hands on hips already for this English forward pack. I'd like to think that's not fatigue and more so just the way that they are setting themselves up. Although Williams as well as Nick Frost have also got their hands on the sides. And Austin Healy, says Dominic there. And also, let's go Australia. South Africans are on your side, says Brett. Scrum feed. Already the chants are starting to go around the ground for the English fans. We have there, let's go Australia. And if you really think about it, Simon Parker probably had the hardest debut of the year. He went up against Argentina off the back of 1 or 2 weeks to prepare. Says Tanner, probably not the easiest one to be fair for Simon Parker, although he did step up in that first contest. Now 15 metres out from the line, Gordon with the short ball to Valentini, tackled by Itoje. Australia got some great front foot momentum now on the attack. Been told to use it and told to get out of that breakdown as well for the English. Now Billy Pollard. About 15 out. Rob Valentini. Low tackle made by Hayes. Gordon back across to Taniela. Tupou tries to bump off his opposite in the scrum. Finn Baxter almost a steal in the breakdown for England. Gordon back across Edmed. This looks like the back line going to try a set play here. Moving it on the outside. Potter throws the interception pass and it's claimed by England, who are now breaking the line. Guy Porter, I think that was going for the kick. And it's going to be claimed by Fraser McWright. Australia back in position, but they've lost 40 metres in the process. Has Mr. Kiwi ever been to South Africa? I have not, no. And just back to Australia at 13-4. Good bet. Says Vice Grip. You're currently still 0-0 after the first 14 minutes of this contest. Neither side budging early here. South African here. I'm back in Southern Hemisphere, says Dusty. Now Suaalii went up for the ball, but he does knock it into touch. Will now be the line out for the English. Go the Aussies from South Africa fan. Let's make it a full house for the Southern Hemisphere team, says Chris. The doctor in England said Tom Aspinall has torn muscles in his eye. Can't track movement properly. Right eye with the same problem, but worse. Yes, it's a brutal one. And I know that people were, they were very harsh on him. Because, at the end of the day, you don't want to have a finger go into your eyeball. Definitely if you can't see in that scenario. With the fact that it actually connected with both eyes. Maybe if it was one, you could consider trying to still go, but if you get poked in both eyes, you're probably well within your rights of saying, look, not happening. Now, Harry Wilson going for the steal at the front of the line out, but it is claimed by Porter. And not really going forward there for Jamie George's rolling maul, so they do have to now set this one inside of the 22 for England, Alex Mitchell, to roll it back and try and find the touchline. Righto, says Jason Bennett. And go Australia, says David. Now this one is close to the sideline, but won't actually go out. Taney Med, good shot on him. And just managing to stay in the field of play off the tackle of Tom Roebuck. Now Gordon, cross to Rob Valentini. Two-man tackle on him again. Maro Itoje is fully involved. Just going short side now, 45 out. As a fighter myself, if you are challenging for the title, you will fight on, but Tom has the belts in year. Says Menier, almost charged down from Itoje. Harry Potter again going up for it. He's just causing all sorts of problems at the back. He hasn't actually won anything in the aerial battle, but he's been putting on a lot of pressure now. Backline movement for the English. Going away to the left-hand side, trying to find that pass on the outside of Fiuwaboso, but can't quite do so. 40 metres out. Mitchell, short ball dropped by England, kicked him behind by Australia, so they straight away gave away their advantage. No, they're going to go back for the scrum. That's an absolute joke that Jack Willis is not on the English team. Rugby needs to sort out their selection policy. Yeah, it's just because he plays in France, isn't it, that he's not available for it. Which does suck, because honestly, the way that he's been playing, you want him out there international rugby-wise. Hopefully he's going to be there for that World Cup. You're loaded, come to Shark Country. You can stay at my spot. And advantage rules are so inconsistent, says Big Rig. Yeah, most of the time when you kick that ball downfield, they do say advantage over. But in this scenario, they did say just play on to the knock on. And we have got the... it's an absolute... Oh, no, I read that one about Jack Willis. Where would you rate Itoje amongst world locks, says Sean? You'd have to put him in the top 10, I would say. Some would even have him probably top 5. Just because of what he's able to do in those rolling mauls. He's really a nuisance. Which is like the best possible compliment you can give a lock like Itoje, because of the fact that he will just get in the head of the oppositions and just drive them insane. Now, Gordon, off to the left-hand side. Oh, Paisami with the bump off of George Ford. Still 0-0 though between these two sides. I remember the game last year between these two teams, what a game it was. Says Joshua, went right down to the wire, didn't it? Can't remember if that was the round that I was away from home. I think it might have been Ireland, Australia that we did while on a holiday. But yeah, these two sides have just got such great potential of having an awesome matchup. Now, great run from Fiuwaboso. He couldn't quite link up on the outside with Mitchell, and he's just thrown the ball away straight into the hands of the Australians. George Bell took a real cheap shot there in the spine. Doesn't look like he's got an up either from it. Gordon, oh no, now he's back on his feet, Bell. Tane Met goes across to Harry Wilson. 3 men on the outside, passes it on to This time, Billy Pollard. Gordon. Oh, charged down by Atoje. It almost looked like he didn't even try to do that, Atoje, and still managed to get it by Sami. Trying to make the decision. Offloads to Suaalii. Passed on the outside. It's a bit scrappy at the moment from the Aussie, so Harry Potter just sinks the slipper into it downfield. Stewart, short ball to George Ford. Round the halfway line. Kicked forward. And Stewart chasing after it. Edmund, though, wins the aerial challenge. Seems to be just behind live, but maybe 5 to 10 now. Another penalty. Right. England have turned down 3 chances to take 3. I feel like you have to take it this time, don't you? This would be the perfect opportunity. It's about 42 metres out in front. He's better than Savia. As a lock, you'd have to say yes, seeing as Savia is not a lock. However, get there, what minute are you at, Hamish? Trying to match up broadcast. So I am at 19 minutes and 3 seconds at the moment. We have there, Toje is a grub, not that great. A middling player that cheats a lot. CSX. And Toje was brilliant in the Lions series in 2017 up against New Zealand. And do you watch rugby league? I do. And I actually will be doing that game between New Zealand and Tonga tomorrow on the channel, so be sure to check that out. I do kickboxing, if that's what you're asking. But I'm wanting to make the switch to MMA soon, says Minia. Now George Forty is lining up this strike. This is the right decision here. Mr. Kiwi Sir, I have a question. Go for it. And you're a great commentator, loving it, mate, says Harley. Thank you very much. In fact, this is actually a lot closer than the 40 metres that I thought it was. It's probably only about 30 out. And George Ford, oh, he almost hit the post, but it does go over, giving England the lead now 3 points to 0 after the first quarter of the contest. Who was better in your opinion, Eben or Maro? I think it depends on what you're looking for. I would say that physicality-wise, Eben Etzebeth wins that battle. And probably running game you'd give to Eben. Line-out steals you'd almost go a Toje though, wouldn't you? In terms of, I think that Eben normally is more so taking the line-out rather than intercepting it. They normally use that 5 option for the box. They're a little bit more like a Diacha or a Mostert, Snyman. I'm watching the rugby league. Well, listening to you as well. So good, says Harley. Is it a close game for the rugby league at the moment? I know the last match wasn't between Australia and England. That one's going high. Now, nice pass. Chance here. Ben Earl, no one will catch that man, and that is the benefit of taking a 3. You can open up that next chance, and England have run it in to now give themselves the 8-0 lead, all within a matter of moments. We have got even a 10. Eben is 10 times better than a Toje. Says Powerball. I'm watching the rugby league. And also, yeah, bro, so far 4-4. That's decent. That's almost an hour in, or not an hour in. They'll be about, 50 in at the moment. X, or is it earlier than that? But just a nice pass in the end. Sam Underhill, he knew he wasn't winning the foot race, so he decided to give it off to Ben Earl, who's got such a quick acceleration. We have got there is just something addictive about Hamish commentating. I can't seem to leave his channel, says Casper. Now lining up this kick, George Ford, hands on hips at the moment. He's just taking a little bit more time. Half time, says Harley. Okay. Close game, though. That's good. And in a way, you kind of want England to sneak that one so that it goes down to the third match. That one's gone over, making the score now 10-0 in favour of the English. And great score, Ford, the man. Yeah, going from their own 22 here, and just a high kick. He ended up working out. We're going to see the replay now of who exactly created that chance. And yeah, in the end it was, I think that was Tom Roebuck who went up for it. I'll keep you updated if you want, bro, says Harley. Yep, so be sure to do that. It is so weird, though, when you think about the fact that England versus Australia is happening in 2 international sports and 2 rugby formats at the same time, and no one thought to maybe try and fix it so that it wasn't the same time. Put in one of these games later, something along those lines. I think Australia are a great second half team. That is true. They normally do fire back in a second 40 minutes, and they're going to have to. Suaalii going up for the ball again. I'm not convinced he's actually trying to go for the ball half the time here, Suaalii. He hardly put his hands up for that one. He's just pretty much making collisions when England are going up for the possession. Trying to get the steal was Ben Earl, and it's an advantage now in favour of Australia. 22 metres out from the try line. Being told to release Gordon. Going back across to the right-hand side again. Little bit of a fumble. That is an ugly collision between Paisami and Jamie George. Looks like there is a player down in back play for the Australians. That might actually be Suali'i. No, he is next to the guy who is down. And that's going to be a penalty now. Going back for the initial penalty advantage. Get a try, Australia. Make the game open up, says Brett. Covering Springboks versus Japan. Timing of all the games overlap so much. It does. So pretty much the plan is to do the first half of this game and then continue to provide updates of this game throughout that South Africa versus Japan match. I will have it on like a split screen so that I can watch both games. Why do they keep playing while someone is down? It depends on the injury. If it's a head knock, normally they will stop, and if they are close to it. But if not, they normally just keep on going. There's cricket on too. South Africa versus India in the Women's World Cup. Yeah, that is taking place tomorrow, isn't it? Or I guess today, depending on where you are in the world. It would be today for us here in New Zealand, tomorrow for South Africans. And Mr. Kiwi Sir, this is a very off-topic question. Is Pavlova a New Zealand or Australia dessert? Depends on who you talk to. I think the initial story of it is New Zealand. But then the Lamingtons, I think, go the way of the Aussies. So I feel like if we can have an agreement that one dessert goes each way, then I feel like it's fine. I can see the Suali'i tactic right there, just being a nuisance. Yeah, so it is quite obvious, isn't it, that he's putting his hands about here, making it almost look like he half-by is going for it, but then he's kind of just trying to collide with them in the air. It's a risky tactic because if he gets it wrong, he's probably going to get a yellow card. Cricket final is tomorrow, says Craig. And also, did you watch New Zealand ODI or New Zealand versus England? I didn't get a chance to. I was actually playing cricket myself and then missed the rest of it. Pavlova is Australian, says Chef. We have got there, we'll even throw in Russell Crowe for free with the Lamingtons for the Aussies, says X. Now ready to throw this one in. Billy Pollard, 10 metres out from the line. Australia turning down the opportunity for 3. So they are currently down by the 10. Now, starting to try and get this rolling maul marching forward. Currently, still that 10 metres out. It's moving sideways for Australia, but starting to shape a little bit more of a chance of getting this one moving. Jake Gordon and Maru Atoche trying to give a little tap of the ball like a cat would with one of the pet toys. Now, Harry Wilson tries to step, colliding hard with Guy Pepper. Gordon, short side, Taniela Tupou. He's had a pretty solid game so far, but Atoje tries to bundle him into touch, just releases the ball in time. So it's still there for the Wallabies. Gordon goes across the hunt to Paisami. After 5 phases, Harry Wilson with the pick and go. Finn Baxter unable to get that steal in the breakdown. Now Valentini decides to go himself around the side of the breakdown. Staying down for a bit longer was Harry Wilson there. Hopefully no serious injuries will be coming throughout this game. Maru Atoje told to get out of it and decides to try and steal it. That is close to the try line there. Just short. And they're going to go back for another penalty. Pavlova is not Australia. It was first made on a farm in the Karoo, South Africa, says Alistair. And we have got there an excellent book to read. Is Eben Etzebeth's book, Unlocked, or Afrikaans title is Ten Slot. Hopefully I've butchered that pronunciation, haven't I? Going for touch again for the Aussies. They have no plans but to go for 7-pointers throughout this game by the looks of it, or at least not at this stage when they are down by the 10. They know that they have to get that comeback. George has got England are doing well in defence so far. Yeah, the one thing that's been hurting them are just those little penalties that they haven't had to give away in the breakdowns. You know, the ones where, like the Maru Atoje there or Ben Earl, where we see them trying to get a little bit of an advantage in the breakdown and it doesn't quite work out. Ready to throw it in again, nicely taken at the front. Rolling maul chance for Australia once more. Still the same maul. And one's gone down. That ball's not coming out unless there is some sort of miracle there for the Aussies and England defending it again. It does now become a scrum for the English. Why you want to watch Japan play rugby man? England versus Australia is real rugby man. Says Power Bite. It's just the way that it's worked out. Unfortunately, we tried to get many people to cover the game for us because I initially wasn't going to be doing any of England versus Australia. But then I decided, we can do the first half without any sort of overlaps. Oh, Underhill is bleeding a little bit from the ear by the looks of it. But yeah, sadly, I tried multiple people, asked if they would do the streams, and everyone said no. So you're stuck with me trying to do 2 games at once. Jan Hendrik Vessels is also author of the new book, Go for the Ball, says Casper. And if it was women's rugby, Pavlova would apply. says Jamie, and Hasey's Fortnite NBA. Welcome in, England. They are going to have themselves a scrum 5 metres out from the try line here. Scrums have been relatively even at the moment between these two sides. Oh, and the free kick goes the way of England. They will be happy with that, and George Ford now has plenty of time to be able to just put this one downfield into touch. But the England versus Australia match is a different league. South Africa versus Japan. Says Gregor there. And as a Pavlova like a meringue, a little bit. Almost like a... Yeah, there's many similarities. Thoughts on the Australia backs? Haven't really seen a huge amount of them as of yet. Boy's put in a couple good hits. Potter's been chasing after the high ball, but hasn't really got a huge amount of it as of this moment. Jorgensen, I don't think they've gone to his wing enough. In fact, I don't think we've seen Jorgensen touch the ball other than inside of his own 22. And he's the type of player that could really cut this one open. And we've hardly seen Andrew Callaway with anything other than the high ball at the back. But still, if they get their momentum going, they will be dangerous. But Jorgensen, he needs to be in the action a little bit more. Bit of a rough pass there. Harry Potter has to retreat to be able to grab that one. And our ladies have always stepped up to the challenge. And Dr. Vian has said, hi, buddy, welcome in. Back across to the left-hand side. Jorgensen now long way off his wing to try and get some hands on the ball. Passes on the outside to Harry Wilson, who has to kick it off his left boot. Oh, tell you what a kick that is from Harry Wilson. That is a 50-22 for the Wallabies. Or is it? They're saying just outside. He wants a check there, Harry Wilson. That was an outside banana kick off the left boot for the Aussie number 8. Just outside, maybe. Just a little bit for Harry Wilson. But that is a phenomenal kick from a position where it just didn't look like there was anything on for him. Thoughts on the English back, says Gavin. I think they're quick. You know, you look through at this side and you got Freeman moving into the midfield for this game. Roebuck actually had a very big part to play in the try that England were able to score. Freddie Stewart, normally safe under the high ball, has been challenged big time by Australia throughout this one. And, I mean, anytime the ball touches Fiua Bosso's hand, you know, they're making meters. It's like Sam Underhill is dealing with some issues. Richard at England says, Sonny, I do have a question for you, Sonny, because I've been very confused lately. You seem to hate every single side. So my question is, who is actually your team out of curiosity? Because every comment on every stream and video, you seem to hate everyone. So I'm confused. Like, I think it's New Zealand, but I could be wrong because you say nothing but bad things about them. So, yeah, it might be that. But I'm curious to know if you actually do like rugby or whether you just like have a love-hate relationship with it. Now ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken by Maro Itoje, 22 metres out from the line. Short ball from Underhill. Getting sat down there was Billy Pollard. Already 29 minutes through this matchup. Equal opportunity hatred, says I Lollipop. Nicely taken by Tane Edmed. On the halfway line, passes off Andrew Callaway. Tries to step. But again, Itoje makes the tackle. He's got to be relatively high up in terms of most tackles made. And Wilson has an easy fumble on the halfway line. Double knock on. So England scrum. We have got there HS for the TMO. Says Big Rig. And there is something about your commentary that puts you a cut above the rest, says Jeremy Yakovs. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you being here for this match. And of course, we have got plenty more coming around the corner. Like I mentioned, the next game, South Africa versus Japan. Also New Zealand versus Ireland. That is coming soon. Be sure to stick around for that. I think the English forwards have it over the Australian forwards. Thoughts? I think at the moment they are showing more physicality, with the exception, I would say, of Taniela Tupou, and maybe you could argue Rob Bellatini. But other than that, you know, Ben Earl, he's been physical all throughout this matchup thus far. You'd also have to argue that, I mean, Underhill's done what he's needed to. Itoje's been active throughout this game too. Will Skelton from Australia is the tallest player with 2.03. Now ready to put this ball into the scrum. Big push from the Aussies, but it wheels away to the side, and England now have a chance on the left-hand side of the field. Freddie Stewart it was. Going on the outside to Freeman. Mitchell uses quickly. Goes to forward. Here comes Ben Earl. And he's over. Is he held up? Yes, he is. They may check to just see whether or not he got the grounding first, though, before getting held up. Where is the 2027 World Cup? It is in Australia. That one will be taking place. I prefer you to the English commentary we are hearing, says Francois. And great commentary, thanks. Says Andrew Roy, thank you very much. Oh, it's brilliantly done by Harry Potter. Got his knee underneath it and managed to hold him up. That was looking like a certain try. But now George Ford, no chance of a drop kick there. Instead, England are going to run it back. They're making easy meters at the moment. And Australia seem like they're just holding back a little bit in terms of that defence, allowing the English to play their game of finding that next pass. Now, tackle made on Jamie George. Already 32 minutes through this contest. That one's going to be kicked high. Chasing after it there was Roebuck, who almost took the man out in the air. The mark is called by Harry Potter. And fantastic from both teams, says Studs Race. Yeah, it's been a thoroughly entertaining first half. And one of the smoothest flowing first halves we've had in a while too. I think they've actually gone pretty much minute for minute. Don't think we've had a TMO. I don't think we've had a stoppage, or at least not a massive amount of one. As long as Australia is in touch on the scoreboard with 20 minutes to go, says Sakabula. Yeah, they've had many miraculous comebacks, the Australians recently. Hi, Hamish, says Penelope. Welcome in. You are keeping well, and hope you're excited for that South Africa-Japan game just around the corner. We are going to be transferring over to that stream at halftime in this contest, going off to the left. Big collision there between Rob Valentini and Ben Earl. Now Mitchell going off to the left-hand side. Freddie Stewart forward past to Fiawaboso. It looks like they're going to say play on just for now. Mitchell goes to George Ford. Low chopping tackle from Taniela Tupou on the legs of Finn Baxter. Ford again and behind. Freddie Stewart, little pop pass now. Thought about going on the outside, but instead will cut inwards. 15 metres now for England. And this is where they're dangerous, when they start getting those quick balls from Alex Mitchell, finding the hands of the loose forwards. Currently 7 metres straight out in front of the posts. Big hits in this game, huge hits. Coming in so far, Dingwall tried the pass on the outside. He's thrown the interception, and Harry Potter, he will run all the way, 100-metre dash, and he will score the try for the Australians. Rugby is such a brutal game. Dingwall with the assist, Potter with the score, and Australia now back in the contest. Joe Schmidt will be happy enough with that one, but to go from looking like you're going to concede to then go on the full length of the field, Harry Potter's thinking, geez, I wish I had my broomstick. No, we can't say that. He hears it enough, but would have made it a lot easier than running 100 metres like he just has. Australia by 16, says Vice Grip. Potter pulls a rabbit out of the hat here, says Studs Race. You can see the face of him. He was really exerting everything into running that one away. Harry Potter is carrying the whole team right now, says Yanko. And that kick has gone over from Tane Edmed. Making the score now 10 points to 7 between these two sides. No Quidditch jokes. A magic from Potter, says Dylan. Surely World Rugby should do something about skew puddings at the scrums. They don't seem to ever want to, though. Like, I know that there was one little patch where they started doing it, and then they realised every single scrum does it. So they kind of gave up on it. But Harry Potter, if that pass had gone over his head to Freddie Stewart, that would have been a try for England. So it's one of those ones that are a 50-50 moment. And intercept, interceptiamus. Says Dylan, that one's quite a tongue twister to try and say. Can the ref be at least more fair to the Aussies? Says Davey. But the rain is still falling at Twickenham Stadium for this contest. 10 points to 7, the way that it sits. Got a little bit of a cut on the left eye there for Harry Potter, the boy who intercepted. Hagrid would be lethal in the scrum. 5 minutes now remaining in the first half. It has gone quick here for this game, ladies and gentlemen, at Twickenham Stadium. Nicely taken by Nick Frost inside of his 22. Now Jake Gordon going back across to the left-hand side. Tane Edmed, little chip in behind. Different tactic attempted by the Aussies. Awkward bouncing ball. Suali going up for it, but it goes to Fraser McRoy, who just knocks it on the ground round the halfway line. England kick it away, and they will go back for the scrum again. Oh, okay, I think they said first knock on from Australia. Doesn't look like it's raining at Wembley, so that is good news. Although I will say give it time because we saw that game between the Barbarians and the All Blacks 15. It was sunny at the start of the game, and then it was absolutely bucketing down in the second half. Which of the English players is Voldemort? I don't think any of them really look too much like him. I don't want to say it, but Dan Cole, if he was playing, was probably the closest comparison, only because of the haircut. We have got there, how many of the Bok players are playing today in Japan? 23. They got their big squad. Like, it is the main Springboks team. But now, 3.5 minutes remaining of the half. 10 points to 7 between these two sides. Sam Underhill is Voldemort, says Jimbo. Mitchell feeds it in. Scrum does not really go anywhere, so now using their backline here again, England. They've got such a crisp set play. Oh, that's a tip tackle from Taineme. Got to be careful doing that. Taniela Tupou lining up Jamie George, forcing him backwards, and the counter-ruck from the Aussies not quite doing. Now Mitchell, little pop pass up to Ben Hill. He's been dropped by Suali'i, who gets him to knock it on in the process as well. And they will have the scrum feed there. That was some pure physicality from Australia. I know that we've seen some huge hits from England, but they're bringing a few back as well here, the Wallabies, for the second half. We're going to see it now. Ahmed initially almost a tip tackle there, or at least of the one leg. England scrum half is Malfoy's oldest brother. Yeah, it was the initial big hit from Paisami as well. And looking at that replay about 17 times on the big screen, and then the big collision from Taniela Tupou and Jamie George too. Arasi is going to take to the field today, says Scorpio. Now scrum feed for Australia. About 35 metres out from the line. How are you, Hamish? I'm doing very well. International rugby is fully back. So, very exciting times at the moment. They actually haven't given England credit for any dominant tackles in this game. 2 tackles are dominant for Australia. I'm very surprised by that. But the number that is even more impressive. England have only missed 2 tackles from making over 70. So their defence, once again, with the exception of that interception, has been almost flawless throughout this game. Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, Hamish. We might have to try and do something for it. I don't know. Is the Melbourne Cup something that people really do get behind? And did you see my update, mate? I actually missed it, Harley, unfortunately. So you may have to put it through again. I'm so nervous about playing France next week. I'm not sure I can handle watching. So here's Gavin. Here's some big matches coming just around the corner. Jake Gordon now. Another free kick going the way of the Australians. This time Hunter Paisami looping it in behind. Goes to Ed Mead, who gets drilled in the side by Sam Underhill. 8-4 for the Australians. So here's Harley. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there from Frost. Now the 50 seconds remaining. I think Australia would be more than happy to go in 3 points down at half-time. And now Harry Potter on the outside. Look for the pass. Wasn't the time for it. George Ford kicking behind. This one curling. It's in the in-goal area. Having to retreat. Running back, nicely done by Jeremy Williams. Actually the man who pops up with it. Yes, hey, horse racing really, but love the cup. Says X. And listen to you from Clarence, says Michael. Going off to the left-hand side. That one's going to be dropped. What time is the Melbourne Cup race actually taking place? Do let me know. But yeah, well done from Jeremy Williams to get in there. Forward brains. So here's Jimbo. It's a try saver for the Wallabies. Currently just the 5 seconds remaining in this first half, which, like I mentioned, has gone very quickly. If IBM New Zealand time. Ooh, so I might almost be available for that one. And thanks for your coverage whilst I'm here cooking pizzas. All the best from Ireland. Come on, Australia. So here's Evan. Oh, what's just happened there? Edmund's gone for the short 22 dropout to try and kick it into touch. Oh, and the ball's knocked on by England anyway. But tell you what, that was almost a massive mistake from the Australian 10. He tried to kick that one out. England claimed it and then had an attacking chance only 10 metres out from the try line. So that could have been really bad news for the Australians, but it is half-time in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. 10 points to 7 and at this contest. But what we are going to be doing, ladies and gents, we are going over to that next live stream. We will be given updates of this game in the second half throughout the second half, but we are going over to South Africa versus Japan for a bit of the build-up of that contest, as well as a bit of a breakdown of this game as well. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to pop over to that next stream that we are just about to start. I will see you all for that next one.